What's going on, guys? I'm Corey from SuperKamiGuru9000, and this is my review of Bleach Chapter 460. Hell yes, Bleach is back. This was a very refreshing week for Bleach, and I say Bleach is back for a very important reason. That's because it's almost reached that point where it's finally back to normal, where it finally feels like Bleach again. It feels like I'm reading the original sagas all over again, and it has a lot to do with the characters that show up in this chapter. But I mentioned a few weeks earlier that when they reached their 450th chapter, that was the author's opportunity to do something really important, and considering it's such a monumental chapter. What I didn't know was that the author was actually going to wait until this week's chapter 460 to pull that off. And as you know, last week Ichigo finally got his Shinigami powers back, which was a huge deal, and I only awarded it an 8 out of 10, but that's just because that much didn't happen. This week was a little bit different, though. This was a classic chapter of Bleach that gave you everything you could have possibly wanted from a Bleach chapter, and it was fantastic. The chapter again picks up. We get to see what's going on again with Rukia and Ichigo, and we get to have some of their old dialogue and going back and forth with each other, which is nostalgic to say the least. I really enjoyed it. I like the way that Ichigo's trying to act all cool and everything, but Rukia knows it's all just him putting up a front and everything, and she immediately goes anime on his ass and kicks him in the face, and it made me chuckle to say the least. It was very funny, and it felt like the old days again. And, of course, while all of this is going on, Ginjo's just all like, oh, bullcrap, bullcrap. Just because you poured your Reiatsu into his body doesn't mean that he's going to have his Shinigami powers back. I have my Fullbring, I took them away, and that's just the way it's going to be. And we get a little reassurance, however, that Rukia apparently isn't the only one who is able to give these powers back to Ichigo. And this is what really made the chapter for me. As expected, the sword that Rukia used on Ichigo was the one that Urahara and Isen were creating earlier on before all this stuff was going on and Ichigo was doing his Fullbring training. We now know its full purpose. It was all a means of getting these powers back to Ichigo. But like I stated earlier, Rukia isn't the only one that shows up, and this is what really got me excited for this chapter. And we get to see this great look on Ginjo's face when he finds out that Rukia is not the only Shinigami there. All of a sudden, there's this great one-page panel, and there's a full group of other Soul Society know-hows there, and they are all the awesome ones. You know why? You got Ikkaku, Kenpachi, Hitsugaya, friggin' Byakuya, for Christ's sake, and Renji, all there on one page, and they were all there to put their Reiatsu into Ichigo's body and help him back. All of Ichigo's rivals, so to speak, are there. Almost everyone on that list is someone that he has pretty much fought against. And now they're all there to back up Ichigo and take down these Fullbring guys once and for all. It's frigging awesome. And it's also interesting to note that they also, a lot of them have kind of a new design to them, which I really, really like. Byakuya's got like some sort of new jacket. Renji's always changing his clothing. Hitsugaya has kind of a shorter looking hair now. And, Kenpachi still looks pissed off as ever, but you know what? That's Kenpachi. He's friggin' awesome. And then, of course, you got Ikkaku at the end, who's as bald as ever. Love that guy. But it's really cool to see that Soul Society is back into the picture again, especially these big hitters, which are all really, really great characters, to say the least. But when Ginjo sees this, he's of course a little distraught, but at the same time, he's still backing up, he's not too worried. And Rukia is there to give some words of wisdom to Ichigo, let him know that no sort of despair will ever be able to defeat you. And this is when the chapter gets badass. Ichigo finally gets to go into full swing and use his Shinigami powers again. And the first time he uses them, it almost looks like he's using one hell of a huge technique on Ginjo. And honestly, all he's doing is, according to him, it was a practice swing. He's just swinging his sword. And I like the way the author draws it. It really shows a lot of power to his technique and everything. And Ginjo even remarks, that Getsuga Tensho is no different than your old ones. And like I said earlier, Ichigo's like, oh no, that was just a practice swing. And the chapter comes to an end when Ichigo begins to build up an incredible amount of energy or Reiatsu, and he's getting ready to unleash his Getsuga Tensho. And the last panel of the chapter is just Ginjo with this look on his face of just, oh fuck, I'm about to get screwed up here. And that's pretty much where it comes to an end, and I am frigging loving it. I am so excited for this chapter. It was fantastic. Honestly, the best Bleach I think I've read all year. Mostly just because it felt like a Bleach chapter, you know? It was just great. It had the perfect mix of comedy, action, story development. It was great, and I think it definitely dwarfed last week's chapter. Although last week's chapter was good, and a lot of people did enjoy it, mostly for the fact that Ichigo did get his Shinigami powers back. Here we got to get them, and he got to use them a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see what happens from here on out. So, now that Ginjo is pretty much going down, I wonder, though, where's Tsukishima during all this? He wasn't exactly very present within this chapter and wasn't very vocal. It was pretty much all Ginjo who was talking this week, and it's pretty clear at this point that Ginjo is basically the really pissed off pit bull that belongs to Tsukishima at this point. And I feel that Tsukishima is going to end up being the real villain of this saga, the real main villain, if you will. But that's not to say that Ginjo is not an interesting character, but he's obviously about to get messed up. But although this is a manga that has a cliffhanger ending, you never know what could happen in the last chapter. All the Fullbring guys could show up again, and you never know. But honestly, I want to see Ichigo waste this guy. These guys have been screwing with him for too long, and it's time for Ichigo to come back into the limelight. He's the main character, damn it. And you know what? He's awesome. He's a badass. He's a shonen hero. And that's why I love reading this. And to all those people who think that Bleach is done, hell no. Bleach is just getting started. In fact, it's getting better. And that's why I love reading it so much. So, as a score this week, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. That's right, a 9.5. Probably one of the highest scores I've ever given to a Bleach manga review. If I'd have reviewed some of the earlier chapters, maybe I'd have given it that. But it's been a long time since there's been one like this that I've really, really enjoyed. Like I said earlier, action, comedy, exposition. This one had it in spades, and it was freaking awesome. And come on, Ichigo's new form looks cool. All the Soul Society guys look awesome now. I mean, it's great. It's good stuff. The art was good. Everything. So if you haven't read it yet, check it out. It is freaking awesome. And make sure to support Bleach. It is one of the big three, by the way, and it's not being replaced by anything like Toriko or anything anytime soon. It's always, for the time being, going to be Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. So support it, because it's really, really good, and it's going back to what it was all about at the beginning anyway. Badass action, badass sword swinging. That's what I love about my Bleach. Oh, and to reiterate, Ruki is still pretty hot. Well, guys, that pretty much covers it for this week. As I said before, a 9.5 out of 10 is what this one's going to get this week. And honestly, I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think of this week's chapter of Bleach? The best way to let me know is with a comment below. And hell, if you liked my review, please give it a good thumbs up. We could always use more thumbs up. One, because we can get our name known around the YouTube community a little bit more, and we can help spread the love of Ichigo and his sword-swinging abilities. So please, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And that's it for this week, guys. SuperKamiGuru9000, out.